All right, so let's call our meeting to order. Can we start with the, I guess, we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance? Yeah? It says to do one, so we'll stand and do
Okay,
it. Huh?
we'll do it.
All right, it was our last meeting, let's do it all.
The
Face
tree.
the plan.
The tree.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could get a roll call as well, please. Kind of seems appropriate with all that's going on in our government to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I've learned so much about our Constitution recently.
Yeah.
Okay. Stacy Sanchez.
Here.
David Elliott.
Here.
Greg Lewis.
Here.
Bob Tucker.
Here.
Enrique Perez. Dennis Barnum.
Present.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, let's start with our consent calendar items. We just have the ones.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I second.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. I don't hear any. There's no chance of an opposition, so the motion passes. Okay, moving on to our business calendar. Our primary reason for being here. You want to address it for us?
You know, this is something that is it's an action that's common, happens from time to time. At the initial part of the year, in March actually, before June starts, we put out our planning figures in terms of how many people we're going to serve based on the amount of money that we're going to get. We're going to say we're going to serve X number of individuals in this program, X number of individuals in this other program. From time to time, based on the enrollment figures, because the money is pulled together, you have to make adjustments, and this is basically an adjustment. We need to move $40,000 from the dislocated worker program to the adult program. We have more adults currently than dislocated workers, and in order to legally charge to the accounts, we have to move the money over. The state law does allow us to move money over up to 100% actually in certain cases. We're not moving 100% of course, but we're just moving. It's a budget adjustment.
Okay.
In order to be able to properly serve the folks that are in the system.
Is it because the good news is we don't have as many dislocated workers that we've had to use those funds, or no?
You know, that's part of it. That is definitely part of it. We did have a pretty active dislocated worker action last fiscal year, but most of those folks were able to get a job relatively quickly. They didn't need our services. The ones that are needing our services are the adult programs, and the adult program basically targets people with high barriers.
Yeah.
So that's basically it.
Which makes sense.
I'll make a recommendation that we accept that move.
Thank you, David.
Approve it.
And that's 40,000 from the adult amount, Carlos.
Yeah. Actually, from dislocated worker into the adult program.
Okay, from dislocated to adult.
Correct.
So.
Not to exceed 40,000.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Our third item is to accept our committee meeting schedule. I would, however, entertain a motion to amend the calendar to where we cancel or eliminate the executive board meetings as listed in the calendar.
As maybe regular, not regular schedule, but as needed.
Correct. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
I second that.
Okay.
So that would be taken.
Well, I can't
off
make the motion. I need
Okay,
to.
I'll
So
make
you make
that.
the motion. I'll need a second.
I'll second it, but so I'm just using this as an example. So that would mean on the calendar right now, February 20th.
Basically, it means that there are no regularly
Right,
scheduled
so those
executive.
would be stricken off
Correct.
of this, and it's as needed, as called, like this meeting.
Correct. Otherwise, we have to cancel each meeting as we
Gotcha.
go. So this just
So
makes it
wherever
easier.
that is on this existing calendar, we would take that off, and then this will be redone. I know staff will redo this.
Correct.
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 And any indicators as to, I know as needed, and whenever I hear as needed, I'm thinking, okay, well, what would trigger as needed?
Well, like
Or
for
are there
today-
any specific things that would, or is it just
Well, like for
at the
today,
president's pleasure?
example. Oh, here for me. Thank you so much.
And somebody wanted a water.
That was me.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
if you could let her know that we're close to being ready for that photo. Okay, never mind.
I mean,
So
it-
like today, for instance, we had to vote on this allocation of funds, but
Mhm.
we couldn't pull a whole board meeting
Right.
together. So that would be, for example, a reason why we might need an executive board meeting to call
And then
something like that.
scheduling based on how we're able to meet.
Exactly, and it was
Okay.
just, it's easier to call the board, the executive committee as opposed to the whole board.
Other
Okay.
times, Dennis, when I see this happen, is you need a quick act, some decision making from the executive body when something legislatively comes down,
Okay.
whether it's a policy or some initiative that we have to respond to, and we need board action,
Okay.
and you would bring the executive committee on to authorize some of those moves.
And it's typically in
Okay.
between our regularly scheduled meetings, so like every other month, right? So
So-
maybe a maximum of 4 times is what I think we've met in a year would be my expectation.
Is there any
Okay.
provision or that says that for an action like that from the executive committee, I'm not talking about from the full board. I mean, I've done this with my board every now and then, where they've just done an electronic vote on something.
No, because of I've asked her this before, like why don't we do conference calls or something like that? But it has to do with the Brown Act, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Isn't
all.
it?
That's what I want
Yeah.
to clarify.
The
That's
public,
fine.
the
That's
public
fine.
availability of
Right.
the information.
Which
Yeah.
makes sense.
And the public wouldn't be privy a lot of times to a conference call.
Correct.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have the opportunity to participate or whatever. Exactly. So that's why that is. Because I asked that a long time. How come we don't do that? Okay. So motion on the table. Second.
Right.
All those in favor of accepting it as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
No opposition.
For clarification, motion was Bob Tucker, and second
Was David.
David. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, let's get our person. Well,
No.
I apologize. I forgot her name. To they'll take it.
Stacy, are
Forgot
you
my
gonna do
lipstick.
the?
Did she tell? Did Deborah tell you about it? Did Deborah tell you about that?
Yeah, she did. She sent me some notes. 'Cause I was a panic. Like, oh my God.
Really long.
I look, at least I have a jacket on. A little more.
Just trying
Oh,
to
jeez.
see where we are or where we can go.
Okay.
So,
22 years.
I wanted the city, that's you guys. I wanted the college district. So, I'm gonna change it later.
Layla. Oh, that's right.
She's on her way.
Three of us. But there are some other outside, for instance, Goodwill. But because there's a change over in Goodwill, I did not include it in this one. Just kind of a little brainstorming.
You guys have done some good things on the ETP.
So what's in
Well,
Grace
but
Brown?
we need to do more.
What's that?
When I
What's
see
the name of your
do
firm?
more,
LSL.
I'll clarify that when we get to
CPAs.
SL.
I know I met with one of your.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, ready.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that one vendor is doing their own thing now.
All right, so we're gonna make a
Yeah,
little
stay on the
award
table.
presentation
Yeah,
here.
stand on
Oh,
the
really?
table.
Oh,
Stand
this
on
is
the
so
table.
exciting.
So if maybe you guys could all gather around so that
Oh,
she
that
could
would
be in the photo. I'm gonna make a little
lovely.
presentation. Greg, maybe step over here
Okay.
so we're not
All right.
oops,
Okay.
in front of the
I had a
tree.
feeling you guys might do something as
Here,
this
let's-
is last board
You
meeting.
know, had I-
Exactly. Oh my
had I
God, that's why I wanted to be
picture, I
here.
would have
So.
worn my shorts.
Try to get us from the waist up, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Okay, so
Yeah, no, no,
this
Can
is
I get you two to
a
lean
this
in
is a
just a little?
presentation. Here, we'll let her take the photo, then I'll make my little.
Oh, what a great group of fine-looking people. Perfect. And I'll take
Okay.
one of you presenting to Greg.
So, Greg,
Yes.
on behalf of the Workforce Investment Board, or the WIA board, I would like to give you this gift to remember us by and to thank you for your 22 years
Wow.
plus
It goes by
service
fast.
to the Workforce Investment Board. The board has undergone changes in its name while you've been on serving.
sure.
And Deborah gave me some information. We talked a little bit about way back in the day when we had the enterprise zone, how you and your firm were very
Big time.
helpful in
Yeah, those were-
presenting to the community on how to take advantage of the tax incentives that were available, that the board has turned to you and your firm for many years for guidance. Deborah mentioned that it wasn't, she felt good about being able to contact you, to ask you questions. And I had one more comment I wanted to make. That I first encountered you back when we had money, and we did the return on investment
okay.
studies
Sure.
with the Cal State University Fullerton.
Yeah.
So we had many meetings about that, discussing that, and we've put out some great reports. And you've been a big, important part of the board.
Well, thank you. You know, it was in the early days, as Dave would know, so it was a great partnership between us and the city, because the city was very kind to our firm, you know. And so we actually moved in here in about 88, 89, and about 93, everybody was moving out of Santa Ana. And so obviously the credits that we could do actually was huge, and so it was a great thing for us just from a marketing standpoint, because we were able,
here.
yeah, because people were moving in, and so it really took off, and so it's been fun. And
Well,
so the
it's
city
been-
was great to this firm.
It's been
I will
a
tell you.
very long-term mutual partnership.
Yeah.
And while we won't have your presence on the board, we expect that you will provide us with a replacement.
So
Because-
John Huckabee, who's
Oh, John's
one of
gonna
the-
do it?
Excellent.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
he's going to do it.
All right,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah,
So that
so-
we can continue the relationship with the firm, and the role it's taken in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a big deal for us, and to be connected, as you know, with the chamber and all of that. And so we certainly want to keep that going.
Well, we appreciate
So-
your support and
Yeah.
wish you the best in your retirement in your new kitchen.
Yay!
Well, you know, Dave, on behalf of staff, thank you so much for being an advocate. I think when I first met you, I still had size 32 pants. So that's how long ago. I think it was Patty was still here. Remember, Patty Nunn was still
Yeah,
there.
of course.
Under the Private Industry Council, then we made
Wow.
the
Right.
change into the Workforce Investment, board. Now we're the Workforce Development Board, and so many changes. When we were flush with money, when we didn't have a lot of money, you've always been an advocate for us and for what we do. So, from the bottom of our hearts, we'd like to thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a big deal.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get
Right.
one last picture of you
Right,
guys?
let him-
And
before I-
she wants one of you
too.
having opened that, I'm
Yes,
sure.
I do. Yes, I do.
boy.
See, I know.
Okay.
There's no snakes that are going to come.
Ah!
Yeah. I know you guys.
Dave suggested that, but we shut it down.
Put it on
The
me?
snake.
What did I
If it
suggest?
goes well, you're going to
The
be like,
little
yeah,
the
it's my
snakes that are
idea.
coming.
Wow.
Oh, the
So you
snake.
can drink
Oh,
best.
yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh
And,
my gosh,
here,
that's
do
really
this
cool.
one.
Yeah, let me.
That fits in a golf cart too.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Turn it over. I'm super bossy.
Yeah.
And one
We're
last
used to
one.
Here, go this way. Hold it with the city
yeah, that's
logo.
Okay.
Sorry,
got
no.
it. Got it.
Oh, you guys and gals are the best.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. No,
Thank you for calling me in. I
Alright.
appreciate that.
All right. So that was our big, we're going to call that our, well, I guess I jumped ahead, executive member comments, but any other staff member comments or anything like that we have, pros, that you want to address?
A lot of retailers are coming in to do some hiring at our place. UPS is hiring people left and right, thanks to Dennis's staff. And they were able to coordinate UPS to come in weekly, and people are getting a job on the spot.
Yeah, they're in all the centers.
Excellent, excellent. Temporary work or like?
You know what?
Temp to perm,
It is seasonal work for those that want to make extra money, but the company does offer opportunities for those that want to continue beyond that.
I have a question for staff, maybe an answer down the road, but I've been reading about how workers are being dislocated by artificial intelligence. And I've heard a figure, I mean, coming from the union side, they say, oh, don't use the self-checkout. Well, it's much more than that. They're saying it's up to 80% of work jobs are going to be replaced, New York Times, with artificial intelligence. So the question I say to my union people, I said, it's got to be more than just saying don't go to the self-checkout line. It's what are we planning for a softer landing for employees or training when this occurs?
You know, anecdotally, we haven't seen any layoffs or anything happen because of those reasons. The last few layoffs that we had was because companies lost contracts. The last one we had last month was because somebody lost the Amazon contract.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been due
Hasn't
to
hit yet.
that,
Yeah.
but we'll definitely keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Maybe we can look at some labor market research where we can see
as it starts
what the
to-
impact is.
It's definitely in some industries, as of course in particular auto industry, the robotics, and even in the customer service industry with folks answering the phone, checking into things like you said, self-check. I can't tell you. The grocery stores are a good example.
Well, we got self-check in the
Yeah.
office,
And we have it at our offices
Yeah.
too.
Right,
So
right.
it's definitely something that's coming. I was in Asia recently, and just about everything, and in Singapore and Malaysia, just about everything is self-checkout. You know, so there's very little interaction, even for paying for things. So those are some of the things. That
Well, even
that we-
McDonald's doesn't want you to go to the
Oh,
register.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that's right. At
I'm
McDonald's.
always
so.
like,
Well,
what?
I mean, we're kind of living in a bubble here, because the economy is so good.
Right.
It'll really, there will be a day when that's not the case,
Yeah.
and then we will have.
Yeah.
You know, we've been there before.
It's coming.
Yeah, so I guess your question, how do we
2009?
repurpose?
Right.
Is really what we have to
Yeah.
look at.
Because-
Repurpose task individuals, and that's something that we're definitely looking at.
Because we are spoiled in that. I don't know. You know, California is what is it? It's 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th largest economy in the world. You know, so if we were in Des Moines, Iowa, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
And so we are spoiled from that standpoint. But you're right. We got to keep looking ahead
See what's coming.
because it is going to change.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
I think with Orange County, when you even get down to the smaller, you know, our economy here in Orange County has been kind of bulletproof
Absolutely.
to a great extent. I mean, it's the 5th largest economy in the United States
Yeah.
from a per capita.
Right.
So but a lot of that, you know, when you look around the companies and things that are here, we have a lot of, whether it's technology, and of course, professional services, banking, all that kind of thing, and we do have a manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of everything, but this, and I heard a similar report,
Yeah.
Bob, and it was like by 2030 or something like that, half of our workforce would be under some kind of
Artificial
artificial intelligence type of thing. So it is about repurposing, retraining, and stuff, and it's our young folks as well as some of us that will work till we die, that kind of thing.
And it's, you look at places like UPS, and I bring the packaging up because the more lockers that are placed throughout the cities to pick up your packages, the less personnel they're going to need
Right.
to get those things delivered or get them out to you.
I
So
heard an
that's
interesting thing about the packages, Amazon. So I was meeting yesterday with Jonathan Mayer, who runs the mall, and they have lockers in there.
Yeah.
And he said it's underutilized. It's amazing how much it's not being used.
Same thing at Walmart. They have lockers too, and they're underutilized
It's
right now.
Right.
Yeah, right now.
Amazon lockers?
The one in front of the 7-Eleven in Garden Road last night, I was in there killing some time in the parking lot, and just one person after another were utilizing there. So maybe 7-Eleven's a better.
Well, but but you think about convenience,
Right
right?
there, just have
I
those
mean,
everywhere.
That's drive up, walk at, you know,
Boom.
if I'm going to, I don't know where they're placed at the mall, but if I'm going to the mall, I gotta park, I gotta walk, you know, I don't know where they are, so at a convenience store,
Right near your home.
right near.
That's what I
makes
use
some
it
sense.
all the time.
Yeah, my condo complex, 220 units, we're setting up lockers.
Oh,
Mainly because of theft.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, dry cleaners using them now too. You know, you drop your stuff off in lockers or in the
and I think Carlos has a good idea about some type of study or taking a look at it, and that's something that we probably need
Maybe
to
Wallace
focus on.
Wellrock can
I was just thinking
Yeah.
Wallace would be the
Yeah.
perfect person to start with
Yeah.
his research.
Absolutely, it's great.
He probably has already done some of that.
Probably already has, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe interesting. Yeah, because I mean, there's new jobs too as a result of all of these
Yeah.
things. I mean, jobs that we never knew existed or wouldn't have thought to exist, you know, several years ago. So.
Be a cruise
You know.
ship entertainer and you'll be safe.
Well, I mean, you have drone pilots now. Who would have thought that, you know, you could make a career out of flying a kid's toy? And, you know, you have people now whose full-time job it is to be on Instagram. So, I mean, who would have thought that a few years ago you could make a career out of social media?
So
I
my
mean,
kid's
there
being
are
trained
also-
right now is what you're saying.
The kid across the street was just in won $100,000. He's 14
my
playing
goodness.
Fortnite. So, you know, there's a lot of new opportunities as a result
There you
of
go,
technology
boy.
as well.
Be a gamer.
Yeah.
Be a gamer.
I'm telling my
You don't
17-year-old,
tell him to get a
oh,
4-year degree.
you blew it now. You know, you could have been a gamer.
Yeah, a 4-year degree in gaming.
Yeah, 4-year degree.
There you go.
That's a new
Esports.
program for Cal State Fullerton.
All the universities have an esports team now, you know,
Yeah.
and they're competing
Oh, really?
on a national level in
Crazy
games.
to think about.
Yeah, and there's scholarships available to kids to go to big 4-year universities and or UC schools playing games. My kid missed that boat. I mean, he's been holed up in his room for years. But,
Training just for this moment.
But we missed it. I didn't know there was an opportunity there. So yeah. There's other things too. That's really
On the 13th, the Honor Hero Hire Vet event. It's a local event, and it's at the Irvine Job Center on Cartwright. So that's on the 13th.
Okay.
So everyone's welcome. It's an open event. We'll have lots of employers there. The event is done in a different style. It's not a cattle call type of event. It's more of a workshop specifically targeted to industries locally here. So we've got quite a few high-end businesses that'll be there as well.
Do you have a flyer of some sort that you can push out to the board?
I will. I
And
will. I
the
do.
rest of the
That
board
would
as
be
well?
good.
Okay.
Get it electronic.
Yeah, electronic.
I'll
Send
get
it out.
that,
If you can get it to us, I'll be glad to send it. Have
Okay.
it posted.
Say,
Send
and
it
I'll
to our
post it to you
members.
and that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Great. I'll get that out to you today.
Excellent. All right.
All right.
I should, if I can take a second just to
Please.
announce, you know, we have our economic development conference every year. This will be our 7th one, the GROW conference. You know, geography, resources, opportunity, workforce. So we changed the venue this year. I don't know if you've been to the new Elks Club, but it's like a Taj Mahal.
I've
It's
heard it. I've heard. I haven't been
beautiful.
yet, but I've heard.
I'm just
about
going, wow, this is a lot different than the other Elks Club.
Yeah.
So it'll be February 20th, and we've finalized kind of our 3 major themes. So it'll be development and opportunity zones. That'll be Christine will be presenting that. That segment, we're doing a segment on arts and culture. So we'll be highlighting artists and arts organizations, the importance of arts and culture in Santa Ana, etc. And then the third area, which is an area that we're focusing on as a chamber moving forward in economic development, is tourism and hospitality. We don't have what our surrounding cities have in the area of tourism and attraction of businesses and attraction of people to come to Santa Ana. So we're in the process of going down the road to create a tourism district. So we will be really kind of focusing on some of the major assets for tourism and hospitality. So it'll be restaurants, our hotels, Bowers, the zoo, those types of assets. that'll be promoted. And then the last thing that we're looking at doing is that we are, with the city, we will be putting on a cannabis CBD symposium, probably in the end of May, first part of June timeframe, to really kind of delve into regulatory issues, business opportunities, uses, that kind of thing. So we'll probably cover a larger. We thought about putting in the Grow Conference, but let's not grow the Grow Conference. Right.
Okay.
But then we looked at it and I said, you know what? How do you try to accomplish all this stuff? Wherever you are on the spectrum of you like it or don't like it, Santa Ana is a mecca right now for the cannabis industry. So let's understand what is and what isn't. And I thought we can't do that in a 25-minute segment.
No.
So we decided and met with Christine and Mark and Stephen and said, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's do a 2 or 3 hour symposium and just try to bring, different 4 or 5 different segments of it together and just, do what we need to do. So that'll probably be I'm going to say, I'm saying the end of May, first part of June. But that'd be like a symposium type of thing, like an extended lunch. We'll keep you guys informed of that.
That's a good idea.
I have a friend who works for one of those places called WDB, and they provide health insurance for their employees. So I thought that was pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, and I would think that it would be a part of the tourism as well. I mean, as being one of the few places in Orange County where.
Yeah, we might sneak a piece in there on that, but we're kind of keeping that separate to just kind of put all the eggs in that one basket, that kind of thing.
Right. Get the players used to each other first.
Yeah, so that kind of thing. So I think we have enough in the tourism hospitality when we just talking about some of the assets that we have here. You have we all know Anaheim. So Anaheim with the resort district and all the stuff that they do there, that's really with the convention center. Yeah, I go over to Costa Mesa and they have Travel Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
You go to Irvine, there's Destination Irvine. Mm-hmm. Garden Grove. Santa Ana, nothing.
Well, the Art Walk, I go to that.
The Art Walk is going to be part of.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the things we're looking at doing is inviting 2 or 3 artists to come be a part of the Grow Conference and bring some of the work and have it in the exhibit.
Because that is getting bigger and bigger every time I go.
Yeah.
And it's
so
foodie
that's
heaven,
so that's going to be a major part of it.
Well, I mean, downtown Santa Ana is foodie heaven, so it's sort of like.
So
awesome.
We'll be snippets of this, and that, in that whole thing. And then I don't know if you know, with Main Place's renovation project, they have this. It's a $20 million part of their $300 million redevelopment phase. Is this $20 million like kids? It's like a kidseum, but it's a kids experience, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be the only one on the West Coast, and they anticipate 1 to 2 million visitors a year in and of itself.
Do we have a representative from the mall on the board, or?
We have at times.
Yeah, that'd be it. I mean, has Deborah been targeting somebody like that? I was vaguely remembering
She's
that
talked with
discussion.
me. Did we approve, or did we get Jack Haley from Lee and Associates?
Jack Haley, it's a board member.
Okay, so he's a new board member.
Yeah.
Did we get a commitment from Drew Hatcher from Bear?
I'm not sure. We have a Simon Gonzalez. I don't remember where he's coming from.
Simon Gonzalez is from the biscuit.
Oh, that's right.
Biscuit cracker company.
Mm-hmm.
Cracker Barrel?
No, it's amazing.
Biscuit Mill?
Again, it was manufactured here in Santa Ana. It's one of the biscuit companies, and they were bought by a Japanese company a couple of years ago. So they produce the Japanese brand, which I can't remember the name of it, and the American brand, and we've done a tour of their facility. I mean, it's
amazing.
State of the art.
And it smells like
Oh,
Yeah.
And they make the animal crackers. That's what.
Oh, okay.
So you put on 10 pounds, just work
Just
it
walking
out.
walking
walking
But
around.
yeah, that's who I can't remember the company.
Isn't it
name.
Stoppers?
It's his Stoppers.
Stoppers,
I'm sorry,
yes.
that's what I couldn't
I
think
thought
of.
that's what you were.
So Stoppers, but I don't think reached out and asked anything about the mall, you might make a note of that. Maybe
Yeah, I
ask
think
her
that'd be a
about
good
that.
person to have. I'm really fascinated with that concept. They're buying up, that French company is buying up several malls across the country with the concept of they're creating living experiences, you know, like where people will go to hang out, like where their kids can play, you can get your phone fixed, get your clothes clean, get your taxes done, or whatever. You know, that you would, that's why you would go to malls. That they're a big believer that the mall's not dead. So it's kind
Generation Z is like, we want to start meeting people again.
there you go.
The young generation, I thought, okay, that's kind of cool.
So they're hanging
There's
out.
hope.
This place is to hang out at.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when we did
exactly.
the Grow Conference a year and a half ago,
Retail's not dead.
we called it retailtainment. That was the term.
Yeah,
So
I like
the
that.
malls are, you know, for instance, if you talk to Jonathan, once this project, which is like a 10-year project, once it's complete, you'll see 30% retail, 70% entertainment. Of course, they're going to have a hotel there and 1,900 apartments.
Yeah, live work.
So it's a live work, you know, the whole idea is that experience
Yeah.
that I can go and with that kids program, it's like you leave the kids there for 3 or 4 hours experience. In fact, as adults, I don't think you're allowed to go in. So it's something
Right.
strange like that, you know,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So I mean, but that's what they're seeing is how they can survive.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's fascinating. I'm really interested in it. All right. Well, thank you for that. Anybody else?
I'm going to visit Project Kinship. I haven't visited them yet. They're with the Youth Council, who helps young people that are ex-offenders to get back on their feet. So they're new with us, and they're in the same facility as the what's the organization? The arts.
Okta?
Therapeutic Arts Center.
Oh,
Okay.
Octave.
The same place, so I'm going to check them out. I know I'm doing work with Garden Grove Unified. I know they're with Garden Grove Unified, and they're also with Santa Ana Unified. So
Okay. So they're not a grant recipient. This last year's grant recipient.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, excellent.
they're new, so
Yeah.
see how that's going.
Oh, that's excellent. Good. Be interested to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff.
All right.
Thank you.
Very much.
Well,
All right.
hope you have a
Anything
great
else?
Christmas and happy
good.
holidays.
Yeah.
and all
Happy
that
holidays.
stuff.
Same to you.
Merry Christmas.
Need motion to adjourn, or we're
I move we adjourn.
all right.
Second.
We all in favor?
My objection.